Kel, the first word you dissect in this week's Spectator magazine is a particular favourite of our leftist friends, and it was coined a century ago by Italian politician Benito Mussolini. What word is it, and how is it being misused?
Well, fascist is the word, and Mussolini coined it in the sense that he called his political party the National Fascist Party. But he was actually drawing on ancient Rome, because in ancient Rome there were magistrates called the fasciti, and that name came from the rods, of sticks that they carried with them. I don't think they actually beat anyone with them. They were sort of a sign of office. But he decided his party were going to be the magistrates that pulled Italy together and made sense of Italy. So he called it the National Fascist Party. And the whole central idea of fascism is basically the government has all the authority and the citizens have none. They have no freedom. It's big government, people under the heel. That's the idea of fascism. Now, it's been weaponised, and it's been weaponised by people on the left, because fascism is on the right, to label anyone who is slightly to the right of they are, where they might be, who might be a bit centre right, are called fascists these days. It empties it of meaning. It's just absurd, because the people they're calling fascists are often conservative people who want the very opposite of big government,
well,
and who
actually,
want the maximum of freedom.
Indeed. I mean, at this days, it's just shorthand for a loving husband or wife with kids, a steady job, and no criminal record. Those are the fascists.
Well, if he has
these
no
days.
political opinions, if he has no political opinions, he's definitely a fascist.
Right.
So not having serious political ideology is being fascist, and it basically means I don't like you. I mean, that's how they've redefined the term. Now, the danger with that is there really is fascism. It does really exist. And when you start misapplying it to people just to say, I disagree with you, your political thinking is not right, you empty the word of its meaning. So when we need to talk about real fascists running a South American dictatorship or whatever, the word has been emptied of meaning and can't be used properly. So what these people are doing in weaponising the word is actually very destructive of the English language.
This is all part of the leftist agenda, though, isn't it, Kel? They do redefine terms to their own benefit. I mean, the fact that this particular word has gone, in almost within our lifetime, from meaning one thing to meaning exactly the opposite. It's dangerous, isn't it?
The expression is weaponising. They are weaponising words. So they take particular words and they take them because they've got a certain odour to them and then misapply them. Now, that's treating a word not as part of the language, not as a way of communicating, not as a way of connecting people, which is what language is meant to do, but as a way of using it as a weapon to beat someone over the head with. Weaponising words is what distorts the language.
That's a very, very good distinction to make. Words, at their best, connect people, whereas this is now being used to divide people. That's a really important observation. There's a lot of words being weaponised at the moment. Can you give us some more examples?
Let me try to think of something off the top of my head. Well, I wrote about them in the column, and I haven't looked at them since I wrote the column. But almost any word can be turned into a weaponised word.
How about
one
racism?
Example is notorious.
How about racism?
Oh, racism, yes. Anyone is racist. I mean, if you disagree with me, you're racist. The one that struck me was notorious, because it's such a straightforward word. It's someone who has got, or an event or an action which has become famous in a bad way for doing something bad. And when the Let Women Speak rally was held in Victoria, it was referred to just recently as being the notorious Let Women Speak rally. Now, it wasn't notorious. It was just claiming safe spaces for women and girls. There were some Nazi idiots who gatecrashed it, but it wasn't their rally. So to call it the notorious rally is to immediately put it into a negative basket. So it's taking a word which is a useful word and has got a function in the language and is part of our communication, and weaponising it so that if I apply it to what I don't like, I'm using a bad word to say this is bad. Now that's weaponising language, and it's a really unpleasant thing to do.